Italy is the dream of many foreigners, but lots of them are still not ready to give up their life abroad. Maybe one day, but in the meantime, they want that feeling of belonging and decide to stay for the full 90 days allowed. They want their apartment, the routine, their favorite coffee shop, and they want to know the people in the neighborhood instead of feeling like constantly checking into another hotel. Today I'll share my perspective on how I would organize my life to enjoy a lifestyle in Italy while maintaining my life abroad. I'll cover the key things to consider, including how long I can stay, what to look for when renting a property, how to find the most convenient car rental options, how to manage my money, how to navigate healthcare, how to have internet access as soon as I land, and most importantly, why I should never forget my documents. How long can I stay? 90 days. That's where the 90-day Schengen Shuffle comes in. So I'm going to explain EES and ETIAS, and of course this isn't legal or immigration advice. Your nationality and circumstances matter. So check the rules that apply to you before you make plans. How does the Schengen roll work? The roll is 90-day in any rolling 180-day period. So if you use all 90 days consecutively, you generally need 90 continuous days outside Schengen before you can have another full 90-day stay. If you stayed 30 days, you used 30 days within the preceding 180 days, so you would have 60 days remaining, assuming no other Schengen stays, and so on. What changed significantly as of April 10, 2026 is the introduction of EES, the Entry-Exit System, which is fully operational at the external borders of the participating European countries. So passport stamping is being replaced by digital records. It can record your travel document information, facial image, fingerprints, and the dates and places of entry and exit. So your travel history is being much more systematically recorded. You want your own records to match the border records, and I would strongly recommend using the official EU calculator as another check. ETIAS instead is essentially a travel authorization for travelers from countries that don't require a visa for short visits to the European countries, and is expected to begin in the last quarter of 2026. The exact dates have not yet been announced. Second step, you need a place to stay. Now, if you are going to spend up to 3 months in Italy and are searching a lifestyle, you need somewhere that feels like home. And here is where I think you can make a big difference to the cost of the whole experience. If you search for an accommodation to the way a tourist does, especially during the summer, you're likely to see prices calculated by night, and those can become very expensive very quickly. Instead, I'm looking for a furnished property for a medium-term stay, ideally for 2 or 3 months. I'm not looking for a holiday rental at a daily tourist rate. I'm looking for a monthly price, and I'm willing to commit to a longer period. That also means looking outside the absolute peak season and being flexible about location. Maybe I'm not staying right in the historic center or in the most popular tourist area. If I'm willing to be 15 or 20 minutes away, find much better value, and I might actually get more authentic experience of local neighborhood. You can look for furnished apartments through local agencies directly with landlords or through platforms specialized in medium or long-term rentals. And if you're staying for a few months, make sure you understand what type of rental contract you're signing. For a temporary stay, you may come across a contratto di locazione ad uso turistico, which is a temporary rental contract under Italian law. Depending on the type and duration of the contract, registration with the Italian tax authorities may be required. And here's an important distinction. Having a rental contract does not make you an Italian resident. Your accommodation, your immigration status, and your taxes, your tax residency status are separate things. The landlord or agency may also ask for documents such as your passport, your codice fiscale, proof of income and financial means, and other information. Exactly what is required is very depending on the property, the landlord, and the type of contract. So before signing anything, I would make sure I know what type of contract it is, if it's getting registered properly, what does it include, if it includes the utilities, or what's the deposit, and what are my responsibilities during the rental. The goal is to create a temporary home, not just book somewhere to sleep. And if you decide that you actually want to buy a property in Italy, that's another option available to non-residents as well. I've made a separate video explaining the buying process step by step, and I'll link it at the end of this video. So think beyond the night tourist price, think a monthly rental, furnished property, longer commitment, flexible dates and location. That's where the 90-day Schengen Shuffle starts to feel much more like actually living in Italy. Step 3, you need a car. Now, if you're going to spend 2 or 3 months in Italy, especially if you're staying somewhere outside the major cities, having a car can make a huge difference. But this is another area where the traditional tourist model can become very expensive. If you simply rent a car from an airport rental company for 3 months, you're paying a daily rental rate, and depending on the season, that can add up very quickly. So here's an option that many people don't know about. It's called temporary transit, or TT. It's a specific European arrangement designed for people whose usually residence is outside the European Union, including eligible tourists, and it can be an alternative to traditional long-term car rental. With Car to Europe, for example, you can arrange a brand new Citroën, Peugeot or DS vehicle for your stay in Europe. Depending on the circumstances and contract, the rental period can range from around 15 days up to 6 months. And what's interesting is what is included. You can have unlimited mileage, comprehensive insurance without a deductible, and 24/7 roadside assistance. The coverage also allows you to travel in Italy, including Sardinia and Sicily, as well as a number of European countries. Although there are restrictions on where the vehicle can be driven, so you need to check those conditions before you travel. So for someone planning to spend 3 months in Italy, this can be a very interesting alternative. But, and this is important, you need to make sure you qualify for temporary transit. There are eligibility requirements, including normally having your usual residence outside the EU and holding a valid driver's license. And don't leave it until the last minute, because you need to plan ahead with booking, generally required at least 30 days before the vehicle is delivered. And this is not the only company. You also have the temporary transit, or TT, Eurodrive with Renault USA, which is the official TT Eurodrive representative for the United States, and offers Renault's Dacia cars. So if you're planning your 90-day stay, compare the cost of a traditional rental with the temporary transit option and get a quote based on your actual dates and needs. The point is, don't automatically assume that the normal tourist car rental model is your only option when you're staying in Italy for several months. Sometimes looking at alternatives designed specifically for longer stays can make much more sense. The next step is money. So the next thing I want to have sorted before I arrive is my money. If you're going to spend 2 or 3 months in Italy, you want an easy and reliable way to pay for your everyday expenses. Move money between currencies and avoid unnecessary exchange costs. So Italy does allow non-residents in certain circumstances to open an Italian bank account, but the requirements and the costs can vary, and for a temporary stay I don't necessarily see the need to take on the complexity of a traditional Italian bank account. So one option I would consider is setting up a WISE account before the trip. WISE allows you to hold and manage multiple currencies in one account, and you can convert between currencies when you need to. The conversion uses the mid-market exchange rate with a separate conversion fee. For example, if your money is in US dollars or British pounds and you're spending in euros, you can convert what you need into euros and then use the WISE card for everyday purchases. And if you're already holding the currency you're spending, WISE doesn't charge a currency conversion for that transaction, although other fees can apply depending on the transaction and your account. Another useful feature is that where available for your country of residence, WISE provides Euro account details and an IBAN, which can make receiving and making Euro payments much easier. For me, the advantage is really about keeping things simple. So I can arrive in Italy already having my money set up rather than trying to open a new bank account when I land, and I would still have my regular bank account and a backup card because I never want one financial account to be my only option. So before I leave, I would have my main bank account, my WISE account, at least one physical card and a backup card, and access to emergency funds. Because the last thing you want when you're standing in front of your landlord paying for your rental car or buying groceries is to discover that your card doesn't work. Set it up before, go, test it, and arrive in Italy knowing your money is already sorted. And now there's healthcare. This is something I would definitely sort out before I leave rather than waiting until I arrive in Italy. Because if you're coming to Italy for a temporary stay as a non-resident, you shouldn't automatically assume that you're going to have the same healthcare coverage as someone who is enrolled in the Italian SSN, the Servizio Sanitario Nazionale. Your situation will depend on your nationality, where you're insured, your immigration status, and any healthcare agreements that apply to you. For example, if you insured in an EU or EEA country or Switzerland, you may have access to medically necessary healthcare during a temporary stay using your European health insurance card under the applicable rules, but the European health insurance card doesn't cover everything, and it doesn't cover private healthcare or planned treatment. And if you're a non-EU tourist staying in Italy up for 90 days, the rules are different. So my approach is simple. I don't want to arrive in Italy and discover that something I assumed was covered isn't. I want private health or travel insurance that is appropriate for my entire period of stay and for my particular situation. I'm not just looking at the price of the policy, I'm checking what it actually covers. So emergency medical treatment, hospitalization, specialist consultations, prescription medication were covered, emergency evacuation or repatriation if appropriate, what happens with pre-existing conditions, the deductible or excess, the maximum amount the policy will pay, whether I have to pay upfront and claim the money back, and most important, whether I'm actually covered for the full 3 months in Italy. I would also check whether the policy covers me in other countries if I'm doing the Schengen Shuffle and spending part of time outside Italy, because insurance isn't the most exciting part of planning your Italian life, but it's one of those things you want to have sorted before you need it. It's one more thing that allows me to arrive in Italy feeling like I'm actually prepared to live here for those 3 months rather than simply hoping everything will be fine. Step 6, and then as soon you arrive, you want data. Because let's be honest, the last thing you want after landing in Italy is to be standing at the airport with no internet. You want to be able to call your driver, find your accommodation, use Google Maps, message your landlord, check your reservation, and of course tell everyone that you arrived in Italy. So one option is to buy a travel eSIM before you arrive. You can set it up while you're still at home and then activate it when you land, so you have data almost immediately. The thing to remember is that travel eSIM is not necessarily the same as having an Italian mobile plan. Many travel eSIMs are data only, and they don't give you a +39 Italian phone number. If you want a local Italian number, you can instead choose an Italian mobile operator and get either a traditional physical SIM or an Italian eSIM. And then the nice thing about an Italian eSIM is that you're getting the same type of local mobile plan, so calls, text and data, depending on the plan, without having to put a physical SIM card into your phone. Prices vary depending on the operator and how much data you need, but you can generally find local plans in the region of euros 10 to 25 a month. Personally, if I'm planning this kind of lifestyle, I like having options, so I could arrive with a travel eSIM already working and then decide whether I actually need an Italian number once I'm settled. And if your phone supports dual SIM or multiple eSIMs, you may even be able to keep your regular number active while using an Italian line for everyday life. Step 7, and finally, don't forget your documents. This sounds obvious, but when you're traveling between countries and staying for several months, I don't want to be searching through emails when I suddenly need an important document. Before I leave, I make sure I have digital and physical copies of the most important things like my passport, my insurance documents, my rental contract, my driver's license and car documents, my banking information, and any other documents that are relevant to my particular situation. I keep digital copies somewhere secure that I can access from my phone and keep the original documents somewhere safe. It takes very little preparation, but it can save you a lot of stress later. So, what does my 90-day plan look like? I want these things sorted. not as a tourist trying to cram 30 cities into 90 days, but as someone creating a temporary version of home. Because I think that's the really interesting thing about the 90-day Schengen Shuffle. It's not necessarily about traveling more. In fact, it can actually be about traveling less, staying longer, getting to know one neighborhood, finding your favorite coffee shop, going to the same supermarket, knowing the people around you, having a routine. And then when your Schengen days are used up, you leave and you make the next chapter part of your lifestyle. My name is Lucia. I'm an interpreter, translator, and relocation expert based here in Calabria, where I help international buyers navigate not just the process of buying a property, but the practical reality of creating a life here. Because sometimes you don't need to move to Italy permanently to know that you want Italy to be part of your life. Maybe the 90-day Schengen Shuffle is the right solution for you. Or maybe you're somewhere in between and you're trying to figure out what actually makes sense for your situation. And that's where having someone on the ground can make a huge difference. If you're dreaming about having a home in Calabria, buying a property here, or simply figuring out how to make life in Italy work for you, I can help communicate, understand the process, deal with the bureaucracy, and navigate all those practical details that don't always show up in the dream. So if Calabria is calling you, get in touch, and if you want to follow along as I explore the practical side of creating a life in Italy, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video.